It's 1923, about 18 miles from the city of Luxor. Egyptologist Howard Carter has spent 5 long years searching for the tomb of King Tut. Time and money are running out. His financier and business partner, Lord Carnarvon, agrees to fund one last season of digging. This is the final chance for this self-taught Egyptologist. On November 4th, Carter gets lucky at last. He hits pay dirt when a 12-year-old local water boy stumbles over a low hill, dropping his jar but revealing a hidden stair. Over the next 24 hours, Carter and his team uncover 16 steps leading down to a wall.
حان الوقت للذهاب.
What they find on the other side of the wall is astounding. A room packed with the treasures of a pharaoh. Hundreds of artifacts, chariots, and weapons. Never before has such a complete royal Egyptian tomb been found. Carter has discovered the antechamber containing the pharaoh's riches. But there is one thing missing: the sarcophagus of the king buried here. He believes the shrine might be behind the next wall. However, before they continue, Carter, Lord Carnarvon, and the crew have a hearty lunch in the tomb of Ramses XI. The photo of this lunch will take on tremendous significance as the years go by. Many of the guests at this table will mysteriously die before the decade is through. After they finish eating, Carter and his team break through another wall in the antechamber. On the other side, there's an open area leading to the door of a burial chamber. Carter's team is ready to break through to the next room. But in Carter's way stands a lock made of rope and a clay seal of Anubis, the god of the underworld, that hasn't been touched by human hands in over 3,000 years. Carter doesn't think twice about cutting it open.
مذهل. هذا أمر لا يصدق.
Under 4 outer shrines, the crew finds a quartzite sarcophagus. Inside is a series of nested, gilded coffins. And at the center lies a mummy, hidden behind a now famous golden mask. King Tut has been found. The Tutankhamun discovery makes news around the world. But it doesn't take long before very bad things start happening. Just days after the discovery, Lord Carnarvon falls ill, developing a nasty blood infection. His condition worsens. Less than 2 months after entering Tut's burial chamber, Carnarvon dies from pneumonia and blood poisoning. His death makes worldwide headlines. A new mania takes hold. Fear of the pharaoh's curse. But is it merely a catchy tabloid headline? One person who promotes the curse is the master of whodunit murder mysteries, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes. For all of Sherlock's cold, calculating reason, Conan Doyle is a spiritualist and a firm believer in powers beyond the grave, an idea present in some of his short stories. The day after Carnarvon's death, Conan Doyle tells U.S. reporters the death may have been due to elementals, primitive spirits invoked by ancient Egyptian priests to guard tombs, and that this must have been a peculiar element of an Egyptian curse. World leaders even get in on the panic. After reading about Lord Carnarvon's death, Italy's dictator Benito Mussolini frantically orders a mummy he had received as a gift to be removed from his private home in Rome. There is one man who is certainly skeptical of the curse, the man who discovered the tomb, Howard Carter himself. Though Carter is distraught by the death of his friend and patron, he calls the curse Tommy rot. In other words, nonsense. Carter gets back to work. But then, rather inconveniently, other people connected to the discovery of the tomb start dying. George J. Gould, an American financier and railroad executive, falls sick after visiting the monument and dies from pneumonia 1 month after Lord Carnarvon. 2 other men who helped with the excavation, including Carnarvon's own half-brother, die from pneumonia in the years following. Newspapers sensationalize Tut's curse and report when a premature death strikes anyone who enters the tomb. Multiple men are later killed by gunshot, including an Egyptian prince who was shot in the head by his wife. One man is smothered to death with a pillow in a gentleman's club, and archaeologist Hugh Evelyn White dies by suicide, reportedly leaving a note that says,
I have succumbed to a curse, which forces me to disappear.
"The curse of King Tut is one of the great unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. But is the curse real, or is it just a series of unfortunate tragedies?" In 2003, 2 London physicians, Sharif and Tariq El-Tawil, publish a letter in the Lancet Medical Journal proposing a possible origin for the notorious curse. The unexpected culprit? Fungus. It is believed that a toxic fungus could have festered for centuries in the tomb, just waiting for Carter's crew to breathe it in. This could explain the deaths that were caused by respiratory diseases and pneumonia. Some say that toxic fungus is the true culprit in the curse of King Tut's tomb. But there's one problem with that theory. It doesn't explain the death of the very first man inside, Howard Carter. Despite rumors of a curse on King Tut's tomb, archaeologist Howard Carter continues to catalog and examine the tomb until 1932. That's a solid decade of getting on the wrong side of the pharaoh. What happens to him? Well, nothing for a long time. Carter, the man most responsible for the excavation and the first one into the tomb, does die relatively young at age 64, passing away from lymphoma. That isn't a condition a fungus could cause. If there were a curse on King Tut's tomb, did it miss its main target? Or could there be some other unseen force at play? In 2024, a scientific paper makes a different case for the pharaoh's curse: poisonous radon. Bioarchaeologist Rosalind Campbell has studied the theory and believes it makes sense. Radioactive gas could explain the mysterious deaths.
So the symptoms of radon poisoning can be very similar or identical to the symptoms of different types of cancers. One of the things that we know about limestone is it emits radon, which is a radioactive gas. And in the Valley of the Kings, all of the tombs are cut into the naturally occurring limestone that makes up this valley. Normally, this isn't necessarily a huge problem, but if you're in an area with a lot of limestone and very poor ventilation, then you are being exposed to potentially unsafe levels of radon that can cause serious health problems. Tutankhamun's tomb is actually unusually small for a royal tomb. They would have been in daily contact with a lot of this limestone that was emitting radon gas. And we do see, for example, various other people who worked in that tomb also were diagnosed with cancer. And Howard Carter died of lymphoma. So radon might have caused very serious health concerns over the years and eventually led to the death of these individuals.